Hey folks, welcome to ADSR. I'm Stephen Ellestad. Make sure you subscribe to the ADSR YouTube channel and follow on social media. So for the next couple tutorials, I wanted to take a look at Substance by Output, which is a new contact-based instrument from Output. It's a really cool instrument, and I've had a lot of fun getting to know it. I'm just kind of still digging under the hood a little bit, but having a lot of fun with it. It's a very powerful tool for primarily bass instruments, although you're certainly not limited to only bass with it. And so over these next couple of videos, I figured we'd take a look at some basic sound design and some basic uses of Substance, less in a first look kind of way. Let's see what kind of cool sounds we can come up with. For this first one, I just wanted to start with a basic look at things and get us familiar. I'm running this inside a Complete Control, which tends to work pretty well because we have our macros that are mapping directly to our control keyboard, but those are pretty simple, depending on your DAW, to map anyway if needed. So if you don't necessarily have control keyboard, it doesn't matter at all. Just figure out how to map them and you'll be good to go. So we'll go ahead and get rid of our browser here. I started with one of the presets. I find that with something like this, starting with the preset can really be a nice way to let you see how the sounds are made and put together. So a couple things. This is the primary window here, and we can see those four macros on the outside. They got different names: pulse and tone, more, etc. And each one of these kind of sections in the middle of these three is a different layer, as it were. And in this one, we've got this tri-sub, we've got a hollow pluck, and this Cerberus. And they're each from these different banks. This bank of subs, this bank of organic hybrids, and this bank of organic hybrids. So let's see what that sounds like, just to start out. So just a couple of simple notes on the keyboard, and fiddling with the macros really gives us a pretty big range of sounds. So let's dive into these a little bit. So each one of these sections, like I was mentioning, is one of these layers of sounds that we're looking at. And we've also got our edit page where we can do some basic editing, envelopes, tuning, sample manipulation, etc. for each of the layers. And we can just go over here and affect any one in particular by clicking it and moving it. Then same thing, we've got each layer with EQ, and then we've got a global EQ section so we can shape our tones. Filters, a filter with different selectable types for each layer. A global filter as well, so very similar to the EQ in concept. Some effects where we can turn on and off and just click to activate. Distortion or motion. What is the motion? What type of motion? Really cool stuff. And then global effects, so we can turn all these on or off as well. And then finally we have a rhythm, which is either a step sequencer or an LFO type of modulation. What is it controlling? What's its cutoff? What's its resonance? So everything is three different layers that we can kind of blend together, but then most of these sections have additional kind of functionality. And then we've got two other sections. We've got our macros, our macro assigns, so we can see what in particular on this window or on this window is assigned to a given macro. So that's assigned a macro too. So we just click the macro to see what's going on with it. And then lastly, we have our arpeggiator, which gives us, in this case, kind of this pedal tone thing. But we can change the basic motion of it. And so up, down, up, random, but then we also can do kind of chordal based motion, zigzag up. Zigzag down, zigzag up, down, zig down, down, up, and as played. So lots of different options there. So in this first one, yeah, we got this basic sub. We got a preset menu we can dive into, different bass guitar, pluck types. We could choose each of these sections and do a lot of nice, kind of typical tag sorting, etc. But we can also look at, say, sound design and maybe drones, huge and percussive. So we got one in there. Let's see what we got. So that's pretty cool, and that's some kind of impact with a kind of a pad reverby thing going on behind it. So let's see what's going on with that. So in the first one, we got this one shot that's a gong. So coming in here, and up top, that's typically the front end of the voice. Maybe we try a shatter hit there. So pretty cool stuff there. I think that shatter hit. So we're going to go ahead and take that one. And so a lot of the way I like to approach this is just starting to look at each aspect of the sound, whether it's layers or whether it's from the envelope. What's the first part of the sound during the attack and decay stage? Next one we got here is our also a one shot. Like in this case, we're looking at some kind of an impact. I think we might shift this to more of a pad thing, but I look at what's happening in that sound and then I find ways I can come in and shape it up. So I think we're going to move away entirely from one shots with this one, and maybe we'll check out what kind of organic hybrids do we have here. I think I'm just going to put this right in tune at 0, and we can just command click to automatically set to the default. Kind of like that. Probably shorten that up and open up that decay. Cool. Now we bring that layer in. And I'm looking at these to see kind of what the approximate volume is of each layer. And just balancing them out. But when I really want to come down to it, I'm just going to kind of come into each level and adjust here as needed, but bear in mind we got some modulation mappings. So that's pretty cool. I think maybe there's even too much impact there, so I'll see which one's not working out. And so I like that one, but I think I'm going to bring the volume down overall. And I want to remove some of that distortion that I hear. Put some motion on that. Yeah, really cool stuff. So we can just come in here and shape it on any particular level. This is another one of that new breed of synths, sound engines, that kind of reminds me just like Form does inside of Complete. You can attack the sound design from a whole bunch of different perspectives. So I really like that. I think I'm going to finish off by looking at my gong sound and finding something else there. Maybe just a simple synth with a nice, maybe not a saw, but a little bit of grit on the bottom end. I think I want to tighten up that. First I want to lower the level of it, but I also want to probably just shape the EQ and the effects on that just a little bit. So I'll turn off the other ones. And this is kind of an interesting way to approach the EQ. You got this visual reference, definitely ties into the theme of the plugin. I like the timbre of it, but I don't really enjoy the tuning of it. So now let's bring this other guy in. All right, and by taking that, changing that assignment there on the macro, we definitely shape that tone a little bit. There you go, a pretty cool evolving deep bass tone with some layers. Just as we do kind of a basic tour intro to Substance. In the next couple of videos, I'll dive a little further in, looking at specific areas of Substance, and hopefully show you some new areas and ways to experiment with it. I'm Stephen Ellestad for ADSR. Thanks for checking out this tutorial. Make sure you subscribe to the ADSR YouTube channel and follow on social media. Take care.